Hello everybody, Everyman prepping there. How's everybody doing out there tonight? And I know what you see in the background is the burning US, $100 bill, burning dollars. We've done a lot of videos of these in the past. Another video today, we're going to talk about BRICs, the destruction of the dollar, and the reason why we're doing another one is more stories come out day by day, faster and faster. It's getting more rapid in the stories about countries wanting to join BRICs, not using the dollar to trade in, not using the dollar to buy oil. It's going to happen when the US dollar is no longer the reserve currency. That's my opinion. I fully believe that's going to happen. Like I said, it may sound arrogant. You may choose not to believe it if you want. But for those of you out there that believe what I do and understand this, I want you to be ahead of the curve. Protect yourself now from when this happens, because when it goes, it's going to go fast, and it's ramping up right now. And I believe we need to really talk about this, drive this point home. So please like the video, share with everybody you can that might not be believing this, might be in the dark. Comment below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. Join us and ring the bell for notifications. But like I said, I truly believe it's might seem like a slow burn. It's been happening for 6 months. I've been doing videos about BRICs, but it's picking up speed, and then all of a sudden it's going to be like, bam, Saudi Arabia no longer takes the dollar. They're taking other currencies, and the U.S. inflation shoots up. The dollar's not wanted. It's going to seem like it happens overnight, but you're going to hear about it months in advance, and you're going to be prepared months in advance. And speaking of that, story I don't have to talk about, but it happened is Kenya made an agreement with Saudi Arabia that they're going to buy oil in Kenya's currency. This is the same Kenya, the president of Kenya said just a few days ago, where I put a little short YouTube short on saying that if you've got dollars, you might want to get rid of them because the market's going to be different in the next couple weeks. So they're not using the dollar right now to buy oil. It's happening. More countries are joining in. So let's get started here. So the biggest thing here, and this is not even a BRICS deal. This is Saudi Arabia, or it says Riyadh here, joins the Shanghai Cooperating Organization as ties with Beijing and China grow. So about a month ago, I did a video on the SCO, the Shanghai Cooperating Organization, and what it was. It's a political security union that includes China, Russia, India, and a lot of the Middle East, Eurasia type countries, a lot of the stands, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Afghanistan, all those people. It's a union. They do trade, they do security, military deals, all that stuff. India and China put their border crisis aside most of the time for trade relations, financial, and BRICS and the SCO. So by Saudi Arabia joining this, and we'll see here, we'll go down here and show you, they're going to be a dialogue partner, and as it says right here, and that means it's the first step in to getting accepted into this. Like I said, once Saudi Arabia goes and the rest of the OPEC nations follow suit, get rid of that petrodollar, it's game over for the U.S. economy, basically. So anyway, it says here, Saudi Arabia's cabinet approves Wednesday a decision to join the SCO as Riyadh builds long-term partnership with China despite U.S. concerns, security concerns. Remember, what the U.S. provided Saudi Arabia and why they decided to use the petrodollar was because we provided them military security. Well, if the United States doesn't do that anymore, if Saudi Arabia and OPEC nations are getting their security through the SCO, through Russia, through India, through China, they don't need the United States, don't need the U.S. dollar, don't need the pressure, the bullying of the U.S. around, because that's basically what the U.S. does. They're going to dump it. And like I said, it will happen. And it says here that, the kingdom, they gave the kingdom the status of a dialogue partner. It's just a initial step in. It's not full membership yet, but it's on the way there. It says the SCO, as I explained, is a political and security union of countries spanning Eurasia, like I talked about all that already. Also note, Iran, which recently brokered, through China, a deal with Saudi Arabia to start up relations. Saudi Arabia is also doing the same with Syria. They're going to open embassies. Once again, shutting the United States out. But it says Iran also signed documents for full membership last year. So it's not a coincidence how these countries are lining up. Once again, picking sides, World War III, all this stuff. It's all lining up right now. So, wake up anybody that is not understanding this. It says a dialogue partner status will be a first step within the organization before granting the kingdom full membership in the midterm, they said. Now, I don't know if that in the midterm means in the meanwhile or if it actually means in the first half of this year. I don't know. It doesn't really get into that much detail, but it could be going in as far as that. So let's go on to the next one here. So this is, what's his name? Jeff ONeill? No, Jim ONeill. Jim ONeill urges the BRICS bloc to expand and challenge the dollar's dominance. So who is Jim ONeill? Well, it's this guy here for one thing, but he's the guy that coined BRICs. Brazil, Russia, India, and China. Well, it started off as BRIC, and then South Africa joined and called it BRICs. But he coined that term. He works for Goldman Sachs. Kind of interesting that someone from Goldman Sachs is, telling BRICs to destroy the dollar. So keep that in mind. Big bank, siding with BRICs. Watch out, U.S. dollar. So let's go on here. It says he published a paper in the Global Policy in March 26th, just a few days ago. And then what he said is the U.S. dollar plays a far too dominant role in global finance. Whenever the Federal Reserve Board has embarked on periods of monetary tightening or the opposite, loosening, the consequences on the value of the dollar and the knock-on effects have been dramatic. So he's saying that the dollar has too much control over other countries' currency and their financial well-being. And it's too dominant, he's calling it. It says they should stop. It says he argues that the dollar's dominance means the burden of dollar-dominated debt, basically inflation, for other nations rises and falls with the exchange rate, destabilizing their own monetary policy, with the greenbacks movements ultimately playing a larger role than domestic decisions. So he's basically saying the U.S. dollar's dominance on these countries is so heavy that it doesn't matter what they do domestically, but if, based on the exchange rate, it could destabilize their own currency, their own country based on if the dollar goes up or down or, pressure or bullying from the U.S., causes it to do that. So that's what he wrote. And he goes on to say, Saudi Arabia and Iran are among about a dozen nations that have expressed interest in joining BRICs. And we're going to get to that in the last article in more detail here. It says, this is what he suggests BRICs do to expand, just so you see what they're looking for, at least what he is, ONeill. He said new members should have a population of at least 100 million, with Asian nations such as Indonesia, Bangladesh, Vietnam, Pakistan, and the Philippines among the potential candidates. See, he thinks they should expand into Asia. But then check out who he also thinks should join. Mexico, Turkey, Nigeria, Egypt, and Ethiopia should be considered. Turkey, I've been telling you this forever, they're NATO, but they're not really a NATO member. They're gonna, in my opinion, get out of NATO soon and just fully join BRICS and the East, Russia and all that. And then you got on there Mexico. We talked about just video last week. Mexico's looking to join BRICS, sign an application. And then if we have Mexico, Turkey, all those countries, Vietnam, Pakistan, Philippines, plus China, India, all in one basic group that is not part of the Western group, that's where probably, I'm going to guess, 89% of all the manufactured goods, plus a lot of the food in the United States we import come from. They're going to control all that, and all we have is worthless dollars. Keep that in mind. All these countries join BRICS, make the stuff we need, and they're going to have the power of that. Okay? So let's go here. Last one. This is the important one about the expansion of BRICS and how their goal is to destroy the dollar. That is their main goal, and they will succeed. It is going to happen. Like I keep repeating. I know I sound like a broken record, but I just want to point out how important that is for you to understand this, and your friends and family, the ones you love. BRICS nations offer a new world order as alternative to the West. Like I said, this isn't the new world order of the globalists, of the elites. It's not the WEFs, that acronym with Mr. Klaus over there. It's not that one. This is the new world order without the West, without the U.S. bullying, threatening, making people use their money, exporting our inflation. That's the new world order these countries are talking about. Here you got the 5 main members. But it says here, the BRICS countries are experiencing their geopolitical moment, meaning this is their time, and they know that. They're going to seize this opportunity. Carpe diem, seize the day. BRICS is going to seize on this opportunity that they have, and they're going to go out there and crush and just put a stranglehold and destroy that dollar. It says BRICS is an alternative model to the G7. The G7 is basically formed in 1975. It consists of Germany, France, United Kingdom, Italy, Japan, Canada, and the U.S. and the EU are all part of the G7. So again, the G7 versus BRICS. One of them is a service. One group is basically a service group, doesn't produce a lot. That's the G7, and then one has all the commodities, all the production, all the raw natural resources. So who do you think is going to win out in this battle? I'm with the BRICS on this one, that they're going to win out. Okay, going on here, it says in 2014, the BRICS started a new development bank, and it was done as an alternative to the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund, and it was meant to support members struggling with payments. So BRICS came up with their own World Bank, so they don't have to play with the globalists. It says these offers not only attractive to the BRIC nations themselves, but also to many other developing and emerging economies that had had painful experiences with the IMF's structural adjustment programs and austerity measures. So it says, goes on, so this is why many countries say they might be interested in joining BRICS. There was too much, by the people that run the IMF, the World Bank, too much rules, bullying, telling these other countries what to do, whereas BRICS banks is just, in their mind, what they propose is they're just going to help struggling countries, help emerging countries without all the red tape, we'll call it, without all the red tape and all the other junk that goes along with it. In 2021, Egypt, United Arab Emirates, Uruguay, and Bangladesh also took up shares in the bank. Smaller than the other ones, but they joined the bank as well. And then the South African Foreign Minister, Naledi Pandor, said that there's worldwide interest in the BRICS group, and it's huge. He said early March, I apologize, it's a she. She told television interviewers that she had 12 letters from interested countries on her desk. She says Saudi Arabia is one, United Arab Emirates, Egypt, Algeria, Argentina, as well as Mexico and Nigeria. Once we've shaped the criteria for lending, we will make the decision on who to allow in. So that's a big thing going on. It's happening fast. 6 months ago, this wasn't talked of, barely on any channels. I put a few videos out, but you're not going to hear most of this in the mainstream media. You're not going to hear anybody talking about the growth of BRICS, how fast, how rapid, how many nations want to go, and why they want to go into BRICS. Continuing on with why you want to join BRICS. BRICS countries have only distanced themselves from the West because it says here neither India, Brazil, South Africa, or China are taking part in any sanctions against Russia. There's no longer a fear of U.S. sanctions, or avoiding those sanctions. Before, countries, if you don't do what the U.S. says, if you didn't take the U.S. dollar, they would probably sanction you or other measures to make you take the U.S. dollar. Well, by joining BRICS, you don't have to do that. You don't have to worry about the dollar and can use other currencies. And then you can see the big bad guy on the block go down, which I think what a lot of countries would like to see. A lot of countries out there, a lot of people think everybody loves America. America helps the world. Yeah, they used to. Not as much as before, before they became imperialistic, sticking their nose in everybody's business. There's no more notion that we're out there to help the world and save them. All these countries just want to be left alone. They don't want to be told what to do, when to do it, how to do it. They want to try to grow their country without the influence or without someone stepping on their throat, basically. Okay, what else we got here? It says, the BRICS alliance is not so much a counter to the West, but more of a forum for increased sovereign and autonomous thought. See, they want independent thought. They want to do what they want without Big Brother U.S. telling them yes or no they can do it. In a bipolar world, he believes South Africa and Brazil are simply vying for better terms. And this is a gentleman named Mayhold at the beginning of the article. So, to kind of summarize all this going into what we have here is Saudi Arabia joining the SCO. We got 12 countries that want to join BRICS. That includes Saudi Arabia, Mexico, Turkey, Egypt, Argentina, Iran, all those countries. A lot of African countries. We have people dumping the U.S. dollar to buy oil as it is now. India, Kenya, China, all of them are buying in their own currencies. There will be a BRICS currency. These other countries will start using it, or they'll just use their own. And like I said, once the OPEC countries, that's the key. Saudi Arabia is the key. Once they fully get on and they make an announcement, we're no longer requiring U.S. dollars, or we don't even want U.S. dollars. It's going to be like a switch, light switch, turn on and off. There's going to be people dumping dollars. They're not going to want it. All those dollars come back here. Huge inflation. all that stuff. So what do you do to protect yourself? Well, limit your exposure to the dollar. What's that mean? Well, have your money, first of all, spread around. And this is not financial advice, not banking advice. It's, just common sense advice. Because I can't give you financial advice. I don't have one of those fancy degrees and little acronyms and all that. It's just what I would do. But you might want to spread your money. You do have around in a few banks, so when the bank collapse continues, they don't take your money also. And it's a little safer that way. That's for your day-to-day bills, your mortgage, your rent, whatever. But your other money, like I always talk about, you might want to look at precious metals. I'll put a link. I've sent all my videos in the description to Silver Gold Bull. That's who I associate with. I've got stuff from them myself. They're very trustworthy, honest. Never had an issue with them. But you might want to look at that. Silver, gold. You might want to look at crypto. Don't know much about it. I wouldn't recommend. I can't give recommended on any of them. Do your own homework. But a lot of people like crypto and think it's safe. There's also, the brass and lead. If you want to go that route, and stocking on that. Most importantly, food. Auto repair parts for the home, homesteading stuff for your animals, stuff for your garden. We talk about you need a year's worth of stuff. I'm kind of leaning towards, I know a lot of people don't have the means for this at all, but little by little, whatever you can do. You need to go 1 or 2 years, 3 years. I know, Southern Prepper 1, Dave over there, he talks about 5 years now, trying to stockpile that because things are only going to get more expensive. They're only going to get scarcer. And some of the best investments you're going to have, the return on your money, is stuff you buy now that is not perishable, that won't go bad, that you can use later, that you won't have to. And that can be, like I said, clothes, shoes, food, repair stuff, things for the homes, fencing, kinetic weapons, self-defense tools, training, medical supplies. Training, I would say it's not a tangible asset, but it's knowledge. Knowledge is power. You might want to focus on getting some training in self-defense, medical, dental, homesteading, animal care, animal dressing, all that stuff. Think of stuff you can do. But in the comments below, write suggestions to people what you're doing to safeguard yourself against this fall of the dollar that is coming along. And that's all I have for you. I hope you enjoyed the video. And until next time, keep your ear to the ground, head on a swivel.